Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you have joined in today. My name is Priya Patra, and I am the Vice President Outreach of PMI Mumbai chapter. Plus, I lead digital transformation programs for Capgemini. So I'm a program manager out there as well. And today I'm very excited to have with me Jacqueline Soo. She is the finalist for the PMO Leader of the Year 2020 for the PMO Global Alliance Award Experience this year. So, Jacqueline, I would like to know more about your experience. How did you? Uh, I know that I was talking to you yesterday, and I know that you started your career as an engineer, and now today you are a very famous PMO leader. So let us know a little more about you, and our audience would also love to hear that.
All right. Hi, everyone. Hi, Priya. Thank you, Priya. So, I'm Jacqueline. So, I'm currently based in Malaysia. So, I've been working for Dyson for the past 15 years. So, up to your question, Priya. I'm going to say this very loud that I'm actually an accidental project manager. So, my early career was mainly focused on engineering roles, of course. And I find one of the key advantages of an engineering degree to all the engineering graduates out there is that it is flexible. All right. So
Yeah.
just like how engineers solve practical problems in daily life. All right. A lot to do with what we do in Dyson. So a lot of problem solving is still involved in project management as well as the PMO function. All right. So that's how I draw the correlation and how I found myself um, attracted to the
To work.
PMO field. Yeah, and it's kind of appealing to me that, oh, I can apply my problem solving skills here as well. So, which means you'll be solving the biggest problem of all. For example, how you ensure each project is completed in the most streamlined, efficient way possible. So that is about project management, the essence of project management, which is very much related to our time constraint, risk sensitivity. So that's my cup of tea. So
Wow.
another key, yeah, don't you find that amazing?
So it's very
So
interesting. Yeah, go ahead, Jacqueline.
yeah, I think another key that is common that I found between engineering and project management or the PMO is the analytical skills. I have to stress that analytical skills. You know, for us who've gone through the engineering degrees, we are very sensitive to numbers, data, numbers. So, but uh, it's also worth to note that project manager is also responsible for project process development and process improvement. So that goes to the PMO as the center of continuous improvement. So again, that's how I draw my relations to this from engineer to the PMO field. All right, give me more excuses to jump ship.
Yeah. So this is interesting. You know what? I also come from an engineering background. Well, I wouldn't say I was an accidental project manager, but I evolved to a project leader and a project manager. So, Jacqueline, tell me, which one do you like better, the engineering part or the PMO part?
Um, I didn't enjoy very much on the engineering part. Sorry to say, but I very much enjoy what I'm having now. I'm
Wow.
in the PMO project management as a fundamental. I would say PMOs, the fundamental, the core capability is still within the project management. So for me, moving from project management to PMO, all right, that's the second step. It's like a natural progression, which I told you yesterday. So
Yeah.
as I gain more experiences, skills, sharpen my skill working in reporting, resource management, those are the few key roles that I've been in. So overall, it took me about a decade, a good 10 years, which is
Oh, wow.
quite an amazing journey whenever I come to think about it. So when I think a person with an excellent technical skill does not always make the best manager. And hey, it's okay. All right. You don't have to be the best manager, but you have the excellent technical skill because
Yeah.
technical experts will always be needed. Engineering projects won't be completed without engineers, right? But for me, like me, if you're really getting bored and you're ready for a new and wider responsibility, want to polish your people skill, yeah, people skill is 90% time of project managers spend on people skill, talking to people, communications, and are constantly looking for an opportunity to grow professionally and personally. I would say project management skill is a very good life skill, essential life skill. So then the project management is the right step to take in that direction and the
Mm-hmm.
underpinning foundation for your future um, program, portfolio management, or even as an enterprise PMO role across every discipline. Yeah.
Sure. So I know that you have been with your current organization, say, I think 15 years now, and you've built a nice PM community within the organization. And would you let us know a little more about the what you do in that community? How do you help each other? Maybe some good practices that we can take back to our organization, Jacqueline?
Oh, first, for the PMO in Dyson and how we work together with the PMO community and the PM community in Dyson. So we are both vital functions in organization. So while PMO has the responsibility to ensure that projects are managed in accordance with the policy and processes, but I think it shouldn't be perceived as in opposition to the PMs or as a police. No one likes to be watched
Uh,
by a police, right? So we we found out through a few pain experiences after a few trial and error. So we have to admit that PMO can only be successful if it's trusted and respected by the project managers. So because project managers are the drivers of project, being at the front line of project executions, delivering the projects. So for PMO in Dyson, we are very much of a supporting role. All right. So today in Dyson, so PMO and project manager are partnering together. So we call ourselves in the partnership. So it can
okay.
be seen across a few initiatives, data governance, for example, right? So in order to increase the success rate of our project or initiatives, so there is a well thought stakeholders management model as well, actually stakeholders engagement model we call it, and we
Mm-hmm.
use it to ensure effective communication is always in place and managed. So it helps to steer clear from difficult situations when it involves both groups, PMO and project managers. We both have our own priorities. We both have our own strategies, but where those things come to fall on the same page when we're talking to each other in the most logical and making sense. All right. So we have that uh, engagement model in place to keep everyone in positions. Um,
So this is a very interesting point that you made, Jacqueline, that no one likes to be audited or no one likes a policeman. And, a PMO can be successful only when there is a trust between the project manager and the PMO organization, right? So how did you go about building that trust? It doesn't happen on the first day, of course, but I know that you said something about the engagement model, but what is that one thing that you did that built that trust between the project managers and the project manager community and the PMO?
I guess we have to look at it like everyone is learning. We need to continue
Yes.
to learn. So in a learning organization, all the functions they are continuing to learning the best out of each other. That's how we benefit from the lesson learned. So when I deal with the project managers or the program managers, the portfolio managers, The intention is always to, hey, I know this is difficult or this doesn't work. Can you tell me what doesn't work? What is difficult to you? And can I help to take a look if you're allowed? And in such a way that I will be frank with you. This is something that we cannot help at the moment. Yeah, we will take a look at it later on, something like that. So have that mutual understandings of where we are on that incident. All right, that's how we be transparent and be not honest with each other, and with the intention to have to move things, how to make things a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. So acknowledge that feedback, that kind of problem statement from our stakeholders, and take
Yeah.
it back to our PMO operational model and our initiative to look at where we can prioritize and improve our processes and all that. But it's also the way, the approach that we communicate it clearly, frankly with them, and have that constant contact. Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, because we will grow together, and we will learn together. That's the philosophy.
Sure. So this is a very interesting philosophy where we say that we have a common goal and we will grow together. And this is a very powerful statement that you make, Jacqueline. And the key to that is transparency and communicating transparently with your stakeholders. I think that's a very good point that you made, and which is very very apt in this all these chaotic times that we are going through right now. So there was a very interesting question from Igor, and thank you, Igor, for that question on the Wova
Hmm.
chat, Wova app. He's asking nowadays, what is the main competence of a successful PMO?
And I would speak on behalf of an enterprise PMO, because that's
Yeah.
how I set my mind to it at the moment. And I would say it's around strategic thinking and decision making.
Okay.
So PMO may not be the decision makers in all situations, especially when it involves the organization, company, bottom lines. But we are in supporting those informations to make the decisions. So
Mm-hmm.
in a way that we look at, let's say, the information or the knowledge management that we have. So what do we want to present? What do we want to draw the conclusion about? So that's about the decision that we're going to make. So you have to be really clear about what is in requirement, what is
Mm-hmm.
required, what is in need, and what is the outcome people trying to reach using that information that you're going to provide, and how you articulate their whole idea and along with the information. So we are the key engine to that linking between the information and to the needs and to the answer outcome of it. Yeah.
Sure. And a related question to this, what does a global PMO leader like you should have? What skills would I need to become a global PMO leader like you, Jacqueline?
Right. Mm, I did a self-assessment long time ago to see, what color you are based on your preference, kind of a behavioral assessment. So I was in a purple and red zone. I don't want
Okay.
to mention what assessment is that because this is a brand copyright. So and then I was very eager that to look at how I could make myself move to the other color, green color, which is green color represent a more calm, harmony
Mhm.
person. So from a purple and red person, which is very directive, very aggressive. So so a few years spent, I reassessed again myself, and indeed I'm moving towards the green zone. So one of the key traits of the green zone is um, leadership with compassionate.
Mm.
Yeah, compassion leadership. So that is the key quality that I admire the most at the moment from a PMO leader. So compassionate leadership if we talk more about it, it's about how a leader that's lead from within, all right, who has the ability to inspire others through a form of
Mhm.
encouragement and empowerment. So it's a
Sure.
very direct opposite from the aggressive uh, um, directive leadership. Um, and compassionate leadership recognize that every team member is not only a significant individual, but also an essential trait, like an essential trait in a cloth fabric of of the entire organization. So
Right.
I believe compassionate leadership is one of the important keys to being a a good, great leaders. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a very very interesting point, and actually, I also truly believe that be a leader who lets others grow, and you grow along with them, with your team. So that's probably what being empathetic, being compassionate with your team members as well, and also with your stakeholders. I think that's very very important. Compassionate leadership is the key skill. I would also totally agree with you. Okay, now that we are all in a pandemic era, right, Jacqueline? So, what do you think that how does this PMO functioning change in this pandemic era? Is there something that you have drastically changed in your PMO, or is it just what it was pre-pandemic? How did it change? Because everyone is going through a lot of chaos at this point of time.
Yeah. And it's quite painful, I would say, different experience that we all had to go through that. But I think the real changes came in place only after the office lockdown. So during the lockdown, so we had a short period of um, um, relax relaxations, which
Okay.
means everyone didn't know what to do, and that's normal. All right, so we're adjusting
Yeah.
our own personal life, our family life as well. So the changes in PMO happened immediately after the office lockdown. So we
Mhm.
took the opportunity to reflect and revisit the positioning of a PMO within the organization, Dyson.
Okay.
So that is because Dyson announced restructuring of the organizations immediately after the lockdown as well. So as the response of the pandemic, because the pandemic really accelerated a few um, things that we plan as a company to plan to um, um, execute like a year or 2 years way after from this time. So it does the acceleration bit. So as a PMO, we generated a full PMO business capability framework. So we took the opportunity and revisit everything. So we have this PMO capability framework that stretch from our current capabilities to the our desired future capabilities. So we're talking about 5 years planned in
Uh-huh.
Dyson. All right.
Yeah.
So the outcome of this exercise to have our capability framework drawn out, and yet the biggest success story for our PMO is that we found ourselves is better placed on the corporate level, which is PMO is moving up from the departmental PMO to a corporate enterprise PMO reporting to the CEO office. So which we mentioned before. So
Mm-hmm.
and that way we will have direct influence on organizational strategy, design, and execution. So
Mm-hmm.
so we have a lot of comments, and we have a lot of relationships um, when we look at our departmental PMO strategy, and now the new enterprise PMO strategies, you know. So when we look at this and we re-strategize ourselves that we should leverage the central resource that we have, central capability that we have within PMO, and move it to the corporate level, enterprise level. So that's the
Mhm.
conclusion that we make. Yeah, that's quite a major change, and I can't say that we have settled down with that change, and we're still transitioning.
Sure. And you know what? I was in a discussion the other day, and we were talking about what did we learn from the pandemic. And I think what I said, as project managers, everyone understood what is the value of project management, because there was so much changes that was going on, and we yet had to keep the projects on. Right? There were budget cuts everywhere. Suddenly, everyone started working remote, and then we had to keep
Yeah,
teams engaged and motivated. I think that's
yeah,
a true essence where the real leadership or the real project management came across. And I'm sure that your transitioning is also referring to how do you polish, take the PMO to the next level, right? So,
yeah.
and I also see a similar question from Rami. So, Rami, thank you for this question. He's saying, what is this one thing that you would do post pandemic? Now, we were talking about the pandemic. Now, he's saying, what would we do post pandemic in managing your PMO? That one thing that you would do different post pandemic.
Um, I think all right. So we have to like bring up the value of PMO a little bit more. I mean, much more in Dyson, so as I understand. So because I think a successful PMO will help to enhance the performance of the organizations in some of their operations and their strategic initiative delivery. So PMO is bridging the costly gap between the strategy design and execution, and how it will positively influence organization project management capability. So that's one thing that we want to highlight and bring up to the top leaders of Dyson. That PMO is the only potential that has the capabilities of knowledge management and competency retention through lesson learn process. So we want to focus on that, how we continue to develop and build PMO as the center of knowledge management and competency retention through the
Sure.
lesson learn process. And as the organization continues to retain their project expertise, their project resources, and we would be able to realize an organization-wide learning repository via PMO,
Hmm.
and that the organization Dyson will be able to realize the cost benefits associated with the speed to deliver our new Dyson products and also onboarding new project resources. So that is the one key potentials that we would like to bring up to the top management, and have very detailed approaches and processes to support that.
So knowledge is the real power, and if you have the experience behind you from different projects, and you know how to apply it, I think half the problem is solved. So, what are the unique ways do you do knowledge management within your PMO?
Well, the knowledge management, we talk about knowledge management on everything, on our data, on our information, how we manage our record history, and
Mhm.
how we want to reuse that record history into the new project. So it is also need to look at how we want to comply with the legal regulations, and some of the sensitivity of the data out of our trade information. So there is quite a lot of aspects to consider, but the knowledge management is the key that will keep all the principles, the knowledge of how we run projects, and the lesson learned,
Yeah,
and keep and all that together as a package, and recycle it for the use of a new project. So
yeah.
that's what we talk about knowledge management in the sense that it is involving the whole organization's business functions to support and as far as it can reach. And it depends a lot of the project management information systems, tools, and technologies. Yeah.
Yeah, so now that you talked about technology, the question that comes to our mind is, are we leveraging automation and artificial intelligence? I mean, people say those are the levers for the PMO of the future. So, do you have any thoughts or plan, or are you already into it? So, can you share some experience about how you have leveraged technology to make your PMO more efficient?
Um, yeah, our PMO is a very small team, first of all. So we are already streamlined ourselves. So in terms of automation technology, when we talk about big data and all that, we
Yeah, yeah.
still have individual function who is helping us to do all that. So within the PMO, we are the business owner, and some of this like the scheduling, we are the system owner. So we work within a PMO and together with this supporting team to look at where we can integrate and tie up the gaps and all that. So it's all based on um, a very sophisticated, customized requirement set that we have set ourselves in Dyson. So we engineered a lot of our tools and systems um,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that um, it protect our secrets. I mean that's
Okay.
the key. That's a draw apart that why we didn't just take on board all the out of the box technologies, IT tool set and all that. So we're very cautious about protecting our secrets and the way we're managing our information that related to our product information. So in terms of the automation, yep, we are still in progress, but
Mm-hmm.
we are quite careful about it in Dyson. That is uh, generally a huge potential for us to leverage that.
Yeah.
And especially at the moment we're talking about Office 365 and all that. So Microsoft is evolving and taking along the all the organizations businesses to evolve as well. So we do need to evolve. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, we do need to evolve because without evolving, we will perish. But yes, and we need to become efficient. But I agree with you. Instead of just jumping on the tools, maybe we should focus on settling our process first and then go for automation. That is a good, point that you brought us today. So, I just want to know what is that one USP that you have in your PMO, which would like to share with everyone all across the world. See, I am proud of my PMO because I am doing this.
Yeah. Priya, you mean one big challenges?
No, it's a one big unique thing that you do in your PMO, something different from others. Unique selling proposition.
All right. So again, I'm an engineer, so a lot of my members in my PMO team, they're also engineers. In fact, they're all engineers, I think, and
Yeah.
IT personnel. So we were quite enthusiastic to design our own tools, as I mentioned, to the extent that we be our own VBA programmer. All right,
Uh-huh.
we wrote our own program, the little program, and to generate a report, and we use that report and to
Uh-huh.
help ourselves in our personal development. So that is the PM competency assessment tool that we wrote, and also we wrote the very complicated, complex VBA program again on the reporting. So so we we almost behave like IT ourselves, IT personnel, right? But we are nowhere near the IT personnel expertise. But somehow we pick it up along our way, and we're trying to make it as close to what we wanted it to be, because
Okay.
our requirement is just it's just different. I mean, our requirement is so different, and then it has to be closely aligned with our product development principle. So therefore, we have a very um, unique selling point in this PMO, is that we would design our own tool and system if we had to, and we did that. Yeah.
Wow. So you're saying you designed your own tools to
Yeah.
make your PMO more efficient, and when you put in all your efforts in designing this, definitely you will, use it very effectively. I'm sure that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And
Go ahead.
and that created another problem that we're facing right now.
Okay.
because
What is that?
because we were so focused on to like fulfilling the requirements, and we design a tool, and now we have separate tools for everything.
Oh, okay.
And we, you know what I'm going to say,
Yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah.
going we're going to face a challenging time to integrate all this. All right.
Yeah,
So yeah, so we're finding ways to do that. Of course, we are not quite ready to get rid of what we had in the first place, which is have that three individual tools to look at a specific view. We still want that, but we're thinking about how to integrate things together. Yeah.
yeah. So you know what, Jacqueline, I face this problem as well. For every small thing, we have many tools. It's not consolidated, and there are so many tools you don't know which one to use. And every time you have to learn a new tool to do some function. So how do you tackle this problem? What do you have in your mind?
We're
Consolidated.
constantly battling with ourselves. Actually, we're constantly battling with ourselves. I mean, it happened to you too. You see, and at the other hand, we acknowledge that there's no one size fits all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, on your left hand side it says that, and the other hand you say, yeah, I want a one single summary, one tool, all right,
Yeah.
one centralized tool. So we need to find balance between these two. I think that is key, and yeah, I think that is a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, just let me know, how do you share best practices across the teams? So I have multiple project teams, and I've seen this in my experience. Best practices are there, but we are all working in silos, and I think PMO plays a very important role in getting everyone together. If someone has already invented the wheel, why should I invent it? So, do you have a best practice to share the best practices across?
Yeah, we have. So, I mean, communication is the first thing. So you need to be able to um, talk to them very clear, and then
Mm-hmm.
in a way that almost like you can show them this is your SWOT analysis. All right. So
Uh-huh.
but then we actually don't suggest that anybody stop what you're doing. Yeah, please continue to do what you like and what you feel is the best for your work in your function, because you know the best how you should work, right? But
Uh-huh.
the we take the best practice out of your processes and look
Uh-huh.
at our PMO best practices and see
Uh,
where we can find a common ground for that one. All right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
A very simple example. Yeah, I just want
yeah.
to continue on. So a very simple example is the use of project management information system. All right. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and we have this SharePoint, nice looking SharePoint, and we say, yeah, this is the standard for all projects. And the other team probably they say, I'm using this great tool, Alastian.
Uh-huh.
You probably heard of that. All right. So yeah, mine is better than yours. So I'm just going to continue to use mine, and where is the single source of truth. All right. So
Mhm.
so we acknowledge that, yeah, either one is a great tool, and we just need to find a way that they can um, connect it to each other, somehow sync with each other. That's the technology part, the IT technology part. So
Right, right. So now, just as you said that you don't stop anyone from using what they do, right? And similarly, there would be project with conflicting priorities. There will be stakeholders with conflicting
yeah.
priorities. And what is the best way to combat them? Yeah, everyone has their own style, but what has worked for you as a PMO leader so that we can learn and leverage them as well in our day-to-day lives?
Yeah, of course, you face a lot of challenges, and on people will constantly bring up that, hey, why don't I just use this my way, So, um,
Yeah.
in a way that we want that noise, we want to hear that, to
Oh,
challenge ourselves, our thoughts, um, and 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 also we want to keep it in line that hey, we aware about this, we are all in control of this one. We know there are shortcomings, we are not, there are some conflicting areas, so we will work towards to resolve that. So I think the awareness is very important. That I know what you're talking about, for example, you know what I know about. So, and rather than just walk away and do your own stuff secretly, you know. So we are kind of like going that way until we can finally agree to solutions that everyone can find their peace. So at the moment, I think PMO and project managers came into the picture with a great help and trying to articulate this. You know, yeah, we would want everyone to use a single source and to look at the same thing. But also we are trying to look at ways to improve. So that's where we absorb all the feedbacks and question for everyone that's with different opinions. I think that different opinions matter to us very much as well.
so, what does a successful PMO would look like to you? When do you say a PMO is successful? What is
Um,
your, yeah? Go ahead.
a successful PMO, I think, is that when they have this enabler in place in the organizations,
Mm-hmm.
all right, to finally see through the execution of the project, of the initiative, through their strategic plans, as when they originally created. So, meaning with minimal disruption, with minimal scope change and scope creep and all that. So I think that is one successful PMO should contribute to the organization. And also, I think, and the other one is, in my heart, I very much like to see PMO as champion of project management culture in the organization, and that should be the case. All right,
Yeah.
given that PMO is the center of knowledge management and competency retention. Yeah.
Sure. So it's like the PMO is the evangelist for the project management culture within the organization. We are not here to audit, but we are here to guide you to in the right path. But because we have all the tools, all the templates, all the knowledge behind us. So that's probably is what a successful PMO is all about, right? And there has been this question in my mind for a long time now. What is the future of a PMO? So when Agile came in, they said we don't need project managers because they are self-sufficient teams. They can do everything on their own. Do we really need project managers? Now, as I think the world is little moving towards being agile and adaptable. Uh, do you think the future of PMO is also being agile, or how would it transform in the next 5 years?
It's definitely in the agile way, and I wouldn't say a traditional way. We were moving towards more agile and all that. So everything we do have to be agile, has to be on time, speed, and all that. So the future the future of the PMO is very much depending on the future of the project management and the program management itself, because
Mm-hmm.
PMO is designed to support these functions. Yeah, and then if you look at the future trend, which is quite obvious to us anyway, the project will become more complex. All right, with more projects need to be deployed, implemented every year, and then we have probably a shortage of project management expertise,
Mm.
and also we have more projects are spread across different countries, different locations, and cultures. So
Mm-hmm.
as a PMO, we do need to consider that in the next 2 to 3 years or 5 years for our case. We
Yeah.
yeah, we cover that in our 5 years plan. How we want to continue to strengthen our capabilities on the project management and PMO core capabilities as well. And but also we need to always reminding ourselves that we need to learn, we need to adapt to the new environment, and adopt the new skills, and that will change how we look at our capabilities and strategy plans and all that. So whatever we have now is our current mindset. So in 5 years time, I can be very sure that Priya, I will talk probably completely the different things, and you'll see me talk about, no, it's only PMO way, not the other way. Yeah.
Uh, since now that you told me about the complexity of the projects, and we also know our teams will get dispersed, right? And it will become more and more virtual and remote. Uh, are we thinking about distributed PMO as well? And how would that work? Just, like a naive person like me, how would a distributed PMO would work like? Usually we think PMO as a centralized, body which is evangelizing project management, etc. So when the distributed PMO comes in, what changes?
I think again you back to layer of communication that you have. So if for example right now we have only one central PMO working on the corporate level, then probably and the distributed arrangement that you have PMO hubs in each core location, key locations, that
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to establish the influence of PMOs there, and be the local support, local contact directly dealing with the local teams, but keeping the same line of thoughts and the strategy with the centralized enterprise level PMO. I think that is one way. Um, yeah, if the teams are expanding across different locations and cross culture, why can't PMOs, right? I think.
Yeah, and it will be across time zones and across cultures. So, I mean, thinking in a larger scale, and I think a lot of cultural aspects also we would have to take care of and understand the local, mentality.
Yes.
And that's why it is essential that we have a local PMO which is in line with the central PMO that we are talking about, like in a hub and a spoke model. Maybe it's central PMO and then you have local PMOs. I'm just thinking this thing. Maybe that's how we will see it transforming into the future, right? Okay, a lot of serious questions. Now I have some fun questions for you, Jacqueline. And and we just spoke about this. I know you're laughing because ahead of time. What's your favorite PMO movie?
Uh, PMO movie. Yeah. Yeah, my favorite movie is Wonder Woman, personally, but yeah, I don't think I can draw that with PMO. It's more like, um, for women empowerment, and sort of a good movie that which I would like to have my team out together in the cinema watch that when it come out.
Sure.
But let's hope that. But I think I would like to take an animation movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you have watched Inside Out, I watched it with my kids a few years
Okay.
ago. All right, so I still remember how this film moved me when I watched it. So um, the movie is about emotions, right? So there are five emotions: uh, joy,
Okay.
sadness,
Uh-huh.
anger, fear, and disgust. Right? Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So all of these five emotions live inside the head of a young girl, Riley. Yeah, I remember the name. And um, they are also distinctively different, um, which is just like our team in a project team or PMO team consists of people with different personalities.
Sure.
So, so, and then these five emotions are all working together and to
Mm-hmm.
mold the personality of Riley from when she was a baby until she's a teenager now. So it's like a project to them. So then the project manager there is Joy. All
Okay.
right, Joy, the yellow, bright yellow, shining Joy, and I think she's not giving enough importance to the skills or the presence of the others, especially sadness, bluish sadness, and Joy tries to manage everything by her own will, so which she thinks is right to do. Um, so the result is that they are big chaos,
Mm-hmm.
and but then as they gone through all the dramas and all that, but afterwards they make a collaboration and understanding that as all of them in the team, um, they can actually work together and put everything in order to continue with the project. So,
Right.
all right. So,
Yeah.
my conclusion is, um, never underestimate the advantage of having different skills in a team
In a team. Yeah.
because every skill can be beneficial for the project or organizations and when properly communicated and applied. So I think uh, it's something that I always try to use examples to amplify about the importance of collaborations and working with a diverse team. So
Mm-hmm.
yep, I really appreciate and happy to see if teams are working collaboratively and respect the diversity in your team. So that's I think that's one interesting part of the inside out that I thought about.
Yeah. So, what is your most fun moment as a PMO manager?
A fun moment. Um, yeah, I think yeah, you have to relate the fun with some games, right? So during the recent office lockdown period, so our team we play charades,
Uh-huh.
charades, yeah, virtually among ourselves,
Okay.
where the players will guess a word or phrase from
Yeah,
other
yeah.
clues. So our our answers our games are actually going like riding a roller coaster, uh uh sing the single lady song, I don't know that, and
Yeah,
rock climbing and
yeah.
flying a fighting jet in turbulence, drinking a cup of tea with sour milk, uh and someone somehow remembered my favorite movie back in those days, the Braveheart.
Good, good, good.
Yeah, and the Game of Thrones, So so we had really good laugh and it's
Yeah, yeah.
memorable, yeah, because we got everyone together, not talking on the projects and PMO, not the serious stuff, but but just having fun together as a team. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
I think we still have the snapshots that shows everyone just showing their teeth and laughing.
So, if you were to choose one political leader as your PMO manager, whom would you choose? Some
Oh,
famous political leader.
yeah. I I have very deep impressions about this Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern. Yeah.
Yeah.
So mainly because of um I watch her on the TV. Yeah, I never been to New Zealand before. I watch her from
Oh,
in the TV. So how I was moved by the ways she responded and handled the Christchurch shooting tragedy. So
yeah.
so apart from championing her government's plan to prioritize the societal, not just economic well-being of the country, I think I personally admire her composure
Mm-hmm.
and her strength in dealing with the worst in the country modern history on that shooting tragedy. So and how she led with clarity and compassion. All right.
Yeah.
So again, talk about compassion. So compassionate leaders um, are the keys to being a great leaders in my opinion. Yeah.
Sure. So there you go, Jacqueline Soo. Thank you so much for your time today. And so, audience, you see, PMOs don't have to be, dry and boring. It can be fun too if you have a leader like Jacqueline Soo. So thank you very much, Jacqueline, for
Thank you,
joining us
Priya.
today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was
And hope
very interesting.
to talk to you soon. And all the best for the PMO Awards. I'm sure you're going to win. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.